In this very lesson, I'm going to teach you quality management system. This is what your school needs to have in place so you can drive a system that works. You've heard of KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken, Market Square, God is Good, Virgin Atlantic. What do these people have in common? Service. And they have so many outlets around the states. Some even have inter-country. But when you go to an outlet anywhere, it's same way of service, almost same product delivery, same thing, different customers, different workers. How are they able to drive this down? It's because they have a very good quality management system in check. And most times in secondary schools, most private schools fail to implement this, and that's why it is difficult to have a system that runs. For you to have a system that runs, you have to have quality management system in place. When you have QMS in place, you as the owner of the school, the proprietor of the school, you could go anywhere, stay even out for a month, 2, 3, or for the full term, and your school runs like a system. No interference, same thing. So what is the quality management system? It's just simple. You have everything involves, every business does either a product or a service. For you as a school, you're offering service, education, and you have your inputs, you have the process, you have the output. Now the goal of a real system is that you want a predictable output. You want a replicable output, and you want the desired output. Now, I started from the bottom. Now, let me take it from the bottom up. You want a desired output. That is the goal of every system. You want, I put in this is what I'm expected to get. So you have a clear picture of what you're expected to achieve. And that desired output now comes in when your company sets their objectives, their goals, and everything, their goals and their customer requirements. Now you have to pay attention to the customer requirement. That means what the customer wants, because the business is all about the customer. So the objectives, the goals, the customer requirements. So this is the output. So when I mean desired output, you want it in such a way that what's the output? What is the clear goal? It's parents brings his child to a school to get the best of education. Apart from that, there are other things that add up to the whole learning process, which puts your school at an advantage. To some, it may be diction. I know some schools that have all the patronage they have just because of diction. They emphasize so much on diction. Yeah, so diction, it's the required goal. So the required goal is that every child from that school speaks English fluently in the British accent. So that's what they are known for, and that's what they sell. Every school, believe it or not, every school, apart from just the academics, apart from just the success in academics, in grades, they still have 1 or 2 unique things that set them apart. So this is your output. And the other thing too is that your output must be predictable. You should know that, okay, this is what's going to look like every time. To a very large level, it can't be 100% predictable, but at least you should have at least 80% predictability. So you know that this is what's happening at so time, this is what's happening at so time in my school. Predictable. They must be replicable. I mean, you would want to open new branches. One of the goals is to expand. You create a branch here, you go to another place in the city, you create the second branch, the third, the fourth, the fifth, and as you expand, you even go inter-country. And you find out that you can make the standard same across board if your quality system has replicable kind of output. So you see, when some companies want to set up a new brand, look at the multinationals. Let's say they have been in France and they want to come into Nigeria, for an example. You see, they'll just bring, all they need to do is just do the design, bring their staff here, and you will see almost exactly what you have in France here in Nigeria. Why? They have a good quality system. So why am I emphasizing on this? These times now, the economy is really biting, and you have to put things in shape. You have to run a very lean system. Very lean system, laser focused and targeted. You don't have time again and resources to spend doing extra things. So you must have a lean system and extra focused and targeted. So it means you must have value for every input you're putting. So your inputs here, your staff and all that, your input, your resources you're going to burn, the power, everything comes into your input. Then the process now is what it takes, the job itself. The teaching is the process, right? Taking care of the children is the process. The whole business activities are the process. So now let's look at the clear business activities. The board is rowdy, so let me just clean off some so it goes in clear, right? So what are the business activities? Service or product development, those who develop the curriculum, the school runs on the curriculum, the lesson notes, the mode of teaching, the various advancements that are going to be made. Then we'll have the customer service from the front desk officer, those who take care of the parents, the customers, hears them, get feedbacks from them. We have the accounting, those who take care of the money, keep records for the finances, make financial predictions for the school, manage the school's debt, if any, and also keep a tool of all income, expenses, and differences. So these are various units, and you have the operations, those that help the day-to-day operations of the school, the administration, the fueling of the generators, the drivers, all those people that make sure you get your services done, right? They are under operations. They will have the marketing, those who help advertise. Sadly enough, this is the main part of the whole thing, but many schools downplay on the marketing side. In fact, some schools don't even have a marketing team. And I'm like, why? There's no company, every successful company has a marketing team, those who draft out the strategy for the school to make more sales and revenue marketing. Well, I'm going to teach that again in another course, right? But for now, let's just talk about the quality management of your school. So for you to have the quality management effectively, you should have a clear organogram. Yeah, you have your mission statement, your objective, how you intend to deliver it. That is shown on by you. You're an academic, but now I want to go to the technical part, because that is where a lot of school owners have the issue. I'm not going to talk too much about the academic part. I'm going to talk a bit about the technical part. Okay, so it's good you have a clear organogram. An organogram helps you to know exactly who is accountable for each action, right? So it shows you the hierarchy. Most times people think use of organogram is just to know who is doing what, but no, one of the important things of using an organogram is that you know various roles and they are clear, assignments and description. Right, so you see, there are various roles, and you need to know their clear assignment and zero. So all these are roles. I'm just giving you an example of a school. Now you have a director. This is a school that has nursery, primary, and secondary. You have the director, right? You have the admin. Some schools have a separate administrator. You have the director, which may be the owner of the school or someone else who runs as the CEO. You have the admin. Then the admin also has the accountant who reports directly to him. We have the officers, the other officers who do the operations work. They report straight to the admin. And we have the storekeepers, the cleaners who report to the admin, those who ensure the school runs, the director of transport, if your school involves transportation, taking students in, and they have them. We have the drivers. So the director of transport, they report under, the driver reports to the director of transport, and we have the ICT who also stand on there. The ICT is very important now because our education today is driven by ICT. So we also have the principal now for the secondary arm. They'll have the vice principals. Some schools have the admin and their card, while others just has one who run these two roles. We have the various head of departments, the teachers, and the students. Now, depending on how your resources are, some schools, the head of departments don't teach, right? The head of departments don't really do so much of the teaching. They may just have 1 or 2 classes in the whole week, and that's done. So it depends on the strength of your resources and the strength of your staff. Of course, the strength of your staff, it's largely dependent on the strength of your resources. So you come to the head of the nursery and primary. I put head MPA, not head nursery and primary. We have the head of primary, head of nursery, the assistant head, the assistant head here. Then for primary, we have head of department, we have the teachers and the pupils. While for the nursery, instead of head of department, we have head of sections, then we have the teachers and the pupils. So this enables you at a glance to know what exactly each and everyone in the team is doing. So this helps you to know the team, and especially when we're having financial hard times like this, or when the school needs to cut its size, you quickly go to the organogram. In line with your quality management, you now know what to cut off, right? So having a good understanding of the organogram, you also know that you need a system that works perfectly, so you can, not near perfect, so you can have a predictable, replicable, and desired output. All right, so I'm going to leave the business activities here while we talk about job descriptions and KPI, right? So we'll then have JDs, I call them job descriptions, JDs, they'll have KPI, they'll have compliance, reporting, auditing. All right, so going by your organogram, the next very important thing to do is not just having an organogram for this. Of course, you're not government, that is not a non-profit organization. You are a private organization that pays so much attention to optimizing costs, right? You want to optimize costs and make sure that you keep your expenses as trim as possible. So you need the job description for everyone. What clearly is the job description of each role? So the thing is that most schools don't even have it written, right? Those schools don't have it written, but this would be a big mistake. But from now on, make sure you implement this. In fact, your job description should be the reason you hire. And so that's why if you check out for human resource managers, they ask you the role, then they ask you the job description. So the job description, it's now what creates the key performance index, call it KPI, the key performance index for each staff, right? Then, because the system has to go, there has to be control too, control and reporting. Because the staff has the job description, it should be clear, achievable, then in line with skills, right? So the key performance now should have, compliance, then above and beyond. All right, so the control and reporting now, they have to be a system that checks. Control and reporting checks. We also have compliance here. Then auditing is assessments. You have to assess periodically. planned versus actual. All right, so you get to do an organogram for each of, when you do your organogram, next thing is job description. The director has a job description. It could be oversee the whole arms of the school, set clear goals for the school, you understand, give targets to the school, motivate each staff. That's your job. Then as the director too, you are the head of sales and marketing. You have to market the school. That's one of the biggest jobs of the director, right? One of the biggest jobs of the director. So the next thing is, you know, the clear job description. For an example, the admin to manage all, to ensure that the school is run according to process and all that. That's the admin's jobs. Then you could go even down to the teacher, primary 1 teacher. This is your job description. Take notes. Always assess this, that, and that. So that's the clear job description. Then the next thing is, from the job description, you see, if you give a clear job description, you'll be able to notice duplication of roles. You may understand that sometimes one person may not even be doing something serious in that school, right? But because you don't have a job description, you may never know. So, and without a job description, one person may be doing what 3 people should be doing. I mean, be overburdening himself, while another person is there doing little or nothing and still getting paid. So you need a clear job description. Then you need a KPI, key performance index. Without a KPI, job description without a KPI is like telling people this is how to go, right? Showing them the road, but not giving them the direction. Just telling them the road, but not like guiding them on how they should get there. Now you need KPI because you need to set clear goals for each of your team members. There should be clear goals that, okay, your KPI shows that these are the things you are going to achieve to show that you are really doing the job. So your KPI goes to your job description. For an example, key performance index for the admin will be 0 downtime day. That means, yeah, in a day there will be 0 downtime in that day, right? So that's one of the KPIs we have. So any month like that, so you may even celebrate his 100 days 0 downtime, right? So that's the KPI. Then the next thing is above and beyond. You know, you appreciate staff that go above and beyond their key performance index. And also to compliance, to ensure that they are complying with what they are actually supposed to do. Then you have control and reporting. Look, if people don't report, if people can't report what they do, that means they don't do it. Because if you actually do something, you should be able to report it. So always make sure you have a good system that does control and reporting. Then auditing. People could report anything that is not real. People could, maybe you may be in good terms, someone may be in good terms with the director, with the principal, and all his reports will be good, all his assessment will be good. But you need frequent auditing. Auditing means frequently, periodically, you bring an external person. Now, it must not be external, so to speak. Like you bring someone out of that direct line to come and say, okay, let's check your job description, let's check your KPI, and let's see what you've reported. So you're not going to check the planned versus the actual work that was to be done. The planned, that means what you planned, versus the actual, that means what is actually going on, right? So it is with this now, if you have this good reporting in place, anytime you want to downsize your company, the work becomes very easy. You just go with the job description. Okay, if you have the head of nursery and primary and now there's no money, you combine the roles. Instead of having head primary, head of nursery, you could just reduce it to head nursery and primary. So you tell this guy, look, we don't have money, we can't get these 2 guys, right? So play this role. You understand? You come to the assistant to say, look, we can't, you come down from the ladder up, right? Assistant, look, we can't be doing assistant like this. It's either you merge up to teach, and you understand, or we don't have any choice than to fire off, right? So the same thing too with the principal, yeah, the VPs maybe there. Maybe you have vice principal, academics, and and vice principal academics and vice principal administration. You could say, look, the administrator take over the job of the vice principal academics, right? Let's just have one VP ACAD doing the job. Then the HOD, let's say the HOD wasn't teaching so much before, you have to give him more roles to teach. Then look from here, the teachers, who can you cut here? Who is not really meeting the KPI? Who is not really meeting the reporting? That's the first person to move out, to know the valuable people. You come to the admin area. If you used to have an accountant, they still have other cashiers under him. You look at it, well, if we have like 5 cashiers, I think we can have like 3 now. That's where it downsize from. Then storekeepers too, and your cleaners. You just look at it and the various things. So when you have this system in place, of course, your downsizing, if it comes, look, it's a very hard decision to make, downsizing, but sometimes it just has to be made to save the business. So if you have this in place, it's going to help your business run effectively. So this is what your quality management system should entail, right? I'm telling you more of the technical side because I feel this is where a lot of schools get it wrong. So this is what we're going to do for you. We're going to save you all this stress because we know some of you don't have the technical know-how or may not even have the time to sit down and draft this down. So what we're going to do for you is to give you a template that is going to help you, one, draft your organogram in case you don't have. And if you have an organogram, we're going to draft your quality management system for you and draft the job descriptions, draft the KPI for you, control and report system, and also we can help in auditing to make sure that your system is good. And whenever you want to downsize or even improve, not just downsize, you want to upgrade, you easily can fall back to the system and you get this done with 0 errors, right? So if you want us to handle it for you, it's quite easy. We'll just give you a template on simple Excel sheets and PowerPoints where you do this, and you'll find out that the quality of production and process in your school will get better. All right.